Hello and welcome back to the KCC, the home of the Sixers. It's Australia versus Sri Lanka in what promises to be an absolute cracker. Joining me up here is Christopher Rogers. Our first look at the Aussie side. How's your thoughts on them, Chris?
Yeah, they look a good side actually. They've got a fair bit of bowling as well as some guys who can definitely hit the long ball. But Sri Lanka are under pressure here after losing their first game against Bangladesh. So they need to win this game, and they're starting off with the bat.
Yeah, Australia won the toss. They're going to open the bowling with some off-spin, but it appears everyone wants to bowl first just to get the feel of the game in their first matches. But here we go, all set. Sri Lanka with the bat. And good start from there. There's a dot ball. Magnificent.
Well, Arjun there comes with quite a good reputation. He's an exciting young spin bowler for New South Wales that they talk highly of.
Sampath on strike, a big hit at that, and no go. 2 dots in a row.
That looked like the one that went the other way, wasn't it?
I reckon it was. A little bit of something about everything in this.
Oh.
What about if you miss 3 balls, you should be out? Let's throw that in as a rule. Here we go. Strike 3. No. Boundary. Way back into the crowd. There's 6. That's better. Sri Lanka are underway.
Well, it just took him a couple of siders, didn't he? And then he's got hold of the third one, got to the pitch of the ball and hit that beautifully through cover.
That looks like an off-spin, eh? He's got a unique sort of bowling action. Sampath on 6. Sri Lanka on 6. 3 balls down. Oh, that's high in the air. It's got to be out. It's go nowhere near. Caught and bowled. Thanks for coming. It's 1 for 6.
Oh, I think that might have been the one that went the other way again. You can just see with that follow-through, it really tries to get through. And it almost looked it stood up on the batsman who's hit it straight in the air. You've got to take your own catches, don't you?
Yeah, well, you've got no one to blame. You're not going to take those ones, as you can see. Now, what I will say, do you think, is it a little bit of Mendez bowling?
Yeah,
it looks like he bowls out of the front, either a leggy or an offie. Very peculiar, and I guess if you've never seen it before, walking straight in, it's a bit tough, but...
It's almost Ashwin's knuckleball, isn't it? The ball that seems to just go the other way, even though it looks like it's an off-spinner.
Well, Pereira's the new batsman. He's a lefty. Let's see how he works it out. And he did it. Good piece of footwork. The Aussies, of course, struggling to make the World Cup. They're still hanging in there. Perhaps Nair's got a future there, but he's bowled an absolute cracking first over here. And we've seen some good overs. I think 7's probably the least we've seen off an over. It's a nice bit of work there, footwork.
Well, you noticed this early, in a few of the early games too, that the wicketkeeper stands so far back.
I'm not a fan.
Can't stop the ball that just comes off the body of the batsman.
Here we go. Ball 6. Oh, that could be a wide. Got away with one earlier, but didn't quite get it. Yeah, we spoke about this in game 1, Chris. I want the wickie involved in the game. I want him up a little bit, getting involved in it, trying to stop those ones in the, that finish up on the cut surface. Here we go. Again, final ball. This could be a wicket. And it's going to go straight down, deep mid-off stroke, and they're gone. Sri Lanka, early trouble at 2 for 9 at the end of the first over.
Well, I must admit, listening to Nikhil talk before the tournament started about using your 2 quickest bowlers to start off your bowling, and Australia's opted with the off-spinner, but he's been unbelievable, hasn't he? Well, 2 wickets in the first over is probably going to win you the game.
Maybe it's not your 2 fastest bowlers, it's your best bowlers. Yes. And perhaps Australia are thinking, well, he's our best bowler. Now, Benny Lachlan is going to bowl from this end, and we've seen lots of good stuff from Benny in Big Bash, in one-day cricket in Australia. Lots of slow balls, change-ups, and there you can see us. That's Group A and Group B. Australia, New Zealand, Kiwis, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh in Group B. And this is an important match in that game situation, and Lachlan's going to start with a wide down the leg side. Of course, very, very tough on the wides in this competition.
He's actually questioning there because he think it might have just snuck in down the leg side, but in fact, if it goes over the line, it's actually a wide. It has to be inside the line.
You'll see for the viewers at home, those little white dotted lines there, that's the indication for the umpires. And that's going to be a big hit down the ground for 6. Timed that magnificently off the bat.
This is the
and he is a man that hits them very, very hard.
49th, 6 of the tournament, but this is actually probably the advantage of having a left-hander in your batting lineup, because that's such a short boundary to mid-on here for him.
What can he do? Next ball, next ball, next ball, next ball, gone. That is a massive, that's out on Jordan Path, that one. Benny Laughlin's just got off the plane from Oz thinking, I don't really like this bowling game and the sixes. It's not much fun.
Well, we've got our half century of sixes there for the tournament. 50 up.
Here we go. 3 in a row. No, this is going to go over the wicket's head for 4. Now that's unlucky. That's a bottom edge.
Bottom edge.
Got the bounce off the AstroTurf, and away it goes for 4 more.
And just so you know, Seb Gotchu's keeping is possibly one of the smallest men in the tournament as well.
Oh, that's a big hit. And over the keeper's head for Cumming. Oh, that swung, and that's going to be a wide as well, plus a couple extra. Maybe an extra bye. That'll be handy as well.
Well, that's why the keeper stands back, so he can get those ones that are fired down the leg side, isn't it? That's the theory.
Or you could be a good wickie and just stop them anyway. Use your feet, Chris. It's called footwork, champ. Not that hard again. Next ball. There's a bit of skidding and a bit of shape. We've seen that for the whole tournament. These Duke balls, especially made for the Sixers tournament, not a lot of seam, but they took the lacquer off them, and it appears that they're actually swinging more than the ones with the lacquer on. So at least the bowls have some chance there.
The Pakistani bowlers hooped them, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. Big 6 over backward point, if you don't mind. Thank you for coming. And Benny Laughlin is going for quite a few in this over. He's gone for 30 so far, or 27 with 1 to go. Could be the biggest over of the tournament so far. 1 to go. What's he got? Oh, he gets away with it. But they're going to run a bye, which really irritates me. I'm going to have to let it go, because it really is starting to bug me.
Oh, I think I need to wind you up about over here.
A bye to finish. 28 all up off the over. It's 38 for 2 after 2. And Sri Lanka, after a slow start of suddenly getting the motors on, there was some big hitting in that over. First one went straight down the ground, and the score over the scorer's marquee. That one went into Jordan Path. Some poor old mate just walking his dog has probably caught one on the head there. And then, if you don't mind, over backward point just to finish us off.
John Hastings to take the ball now.
Oh, he starts with a wide. He's going to get an extra, so that's going to be worth 3.
That looked a bit stiff there from the big Duke, didn't it?
Might be a bit stiff. I heard he was doing some circuit work, doing some hills the other night up Plain Kwai Fong. Fantastic bowler for Australia, and he's just retired from
domestic cricket. He's going to continue to play T20 cricket, the Big Bash, and then hopefully in other places around the world.
He's got a big job to do here for his side, and that's going to be 4 through mid-wicket on the deck, keeping the ball on the deck that time, and away it went.
We've seen a few of the sides have a mid-on and then a mid-wicket, but Australia's had their player at square leg.
Well, that's good bowling. A slight inquisitive ask of the umpire. It looks like he's got bat on that. But again, Hastings, quite a low arm action. He's getting that little swing into the left-handers. See if he can swing one away from the righty.
I've actually always found him awkward, because you always felt he was going to bowl in swingers, but it'd go the other way.
Oh, he's going to get a wide for that, and again they're going to scamper through for an extra, because the wickie's got his feet up, fielding in the bloody commentary box down there.
I'm not sure John Hastings is enjoying these wides. It just means he has to bowl an extra ball.
It's hit hard straight back at him, and it's going to go away to the boundary for 4 in front of our cameras down there, and that's 30 for Rajapakse. Is walking off the ground with a magnificent 30-odd retired. Of course, he can come back in a little bit later, just off the 9 balls, if you don't mind. I reckon that's the quickest one we've seen so far today.
Yeah, we've seen a few off 10 balls, but yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the quickest.
Next ball off the pad, scampering down the wicky. Moves well to his right to keep it to 1.
Well, Ryan, after that first over there, which went for 8, I thought this is Australia's game, and since then Sri Lanka have been well on top. This is a great position to be in with 2 overs to go, isn't it?
A guy, especially with a retired boy in the back. In swing, didn't get it quite right, but the batsman did, and it goes for 4. They keep rolling along here, Sri Lanka. But suddenly, like you said, after the first over, it was 2 for 7. Now we're rolling along. That's 2 for 59 off 3. Good shape, but just gave him a little bit of width down the leg side. It's good enough, just need a bit of bat on it, and that's all she wrote.
Oh, I'm enjoying John Hastings' aviators there. He's got on. They're not your typical Oakleys, are they? I think he's definitely here to enjoy himself. Had a big smile on his face after that over.
Matthew Short is coming into the attack for the Aussies. Right arm off spin, gets hoiked away through mid-wicket for 4.
Short's just making his way for Victoria.
Yep.
Domestic side, does bowl off spin, has actually opened the bowling, I think, for Victoria in the one-day game.
Well, that is a chance to be caught on the boundary. Did he stay in? He's gonna say 6. Gee, that was good honesty from the by the fielder. He must have just brushed the rope. And the way you play the game correctly, for all those kids watching at home, you stand on the rope at 6. Doesn't matter where you are, you tell them. Next ball goes straight down the ground, and that's going to be 4 as well.
These left-handers are targeting the leg side boundary here, the short boundary.
Just the last little bit of his foot on the rope, and that's 6. Oh, that is a bigger 6. You don't have to worry about worrying where the rope is with that. Another one goes to Jordan Path. Sri Lanka on the charge here. The Virgin Atlantic, 53 sixes already. I wonder where he's going to try and hit that. I wonder where he was going to try and hit that, Bucky, with that stance.
Well, he's looking at this short boundary, but Short's coming round the wicket and angling it in towards middle and leg. Here we go. He's coming over the wicket. He'll try and bowl this one across him.
Oh, he's got... It's up. It's up. It's up.
It's
out of here. What batting that is.
How many off that over?
What an over. 2 fours,
32.
4 sixes, 33 off 7 rocks to the retirement, which he has just gone to the top of the leaderboard. Fantastic batting. Look at that. That's a top edge. To be fair to the spinner, he probably did him there. But it just goes over the rope.
How many metres is that boundary?
Not very far. But it doesn't have to be in it. All the sights and sounds of this magnificency. It's fantastic to have it back. The World Sixes here in Hong Kong. I hope they're all smiling there. They should be having a great time. Nathan Reardon to bowl the last over, and he starts with the inside edge down to the boundary for 4. Biggest score in the competition is coming up, let me tell you.
Well, they're on the charge here, Sri Lanka. They've been absolutely fantastic after that first over.
Oh, that's a wide. seriously can't bowl wides. Let's start with that. Try and reduce the sundries. That's hit hard, and there's a fielder. That's probably the first single we've seen for a long time. Oh, they're going to get two. There you go. It literally was a little bit
that,
of...
didn't you?
It's good fielding, throwing the stumps down from the boundary line, but... Gee, that's unlucky. Nathan Reardon, not known for his bowling back home. Maharoof has got a piece. Hublot? No. Almost. The 12 would have been fantastic.
It would have destroyed Australia, that, wouldn't it?
I reckon just there was an inkling that he might have got there, but it went for 6. But now we're a chance. Oh. No. He's put it down. He came, it ran, it looked like he had it. Just wouldn't go in cleanly. He had a couple of tries at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no. And to finish us off, that's going to be another boundary. They're coming in all directions for Sri Lanka. 110 for 2 with 1 to go. And this one will go out through cover, and that'll probably go to the boundary as well. It does. A fitting end to the Sri Lankan innings, because that is probably one of the best 5 overs of batting we've seen all tournament. We're only just started, but that was phenomenal. Sri Lanka finish on 2 for 114 after being 2 for 7 or 2 for 8 after the first over.
So their last 4 overs, they've scored 106 for no wickets. That's incredible.
Chris, it wasn't that long ago when we were on air for the first time and you said, what's a good score? We were saying 70 or 80. Throw it out the door, because 2 for 114 is what they got. Rajapaksa 31 off 9. Mendes 33 off 7. Oh dear, do we really want to look at the bowling figures for the Aussies? Because it's going to get ugly, let me tell you about that. Except for the first over. Now, have a look at it. 5 dots, 2 for 8, fantastic. And then it gets ugly. 27 for Lachlan, 21 for Hastings, 32 for Short, and 23 for Reardon. If I was Reardon, I'd be telling Shorty, hey, I wasn't as bad as you, mate. Let's go down for the toss of the coin for our next match.
Well, it's 2 ends of the spectrum here. We've got the defending champions South Africa against first-timers, the MCC, having turned up here. But don't forget, England have actually won the tournament 5 times. We're set for the toss. Aubrey Shvanapol and Samit Patel here. Aubrey, you have the coin. Heads is the call from Samit Patel, and it is a head. Samit, you won the toss. What's it going to be?
We'll have a bowl.
You'll have a bowl. Is that just because chasing is the thing to do in the short format?
Yeah, definitely. I think we don't know what's a good score, so we'll just try and get what they get.
What do you hope to restrict them to?
I'm not so sure. About 100.
About 100. All right. Good luck to that. Let's bring Aubrey in. You've been put into bat. Happy to do that?
Yeah, we see now like what the scores, like good scores. So happy to get runs on the board and look to defend it there in the back end.
And you've got a young side, a relatively new side, even though you're defending champions. Good first outing there.
Yeah, that's the good thing. Like a lot of the guys, it's big name players, but in my team there's like not really big name players. So a lot of you don't really know the guys. So on the day it could be our day.
We know you now, Aubrey. Good luck for the tournament.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, there you have it. The news from there is that the first timers MCC have won the toss and they're going to bowl first.
Well, let's go to the highlights of that first innings, and let me tell you, there were plenty. First over, you thought to yourself, well, what's going to go on here, Sri Lanka? They couldn't get it off the square. They lost 2 wickets. Nair was all over them. Caught and bowled to start with. And here's another one, caught it deep mid-off. And you thought, right then, Chris, game over. 2 for 8 off 1 over. Stick a fork in them.
Yeah, well, what he did so well was he offered variety, didn't he? He bowled the ball that spun in and then the one that went away. And then after that, you saw Australia just bowling pretty much straight balls and allowing Sri Lanka to hit them wherever they wanted.
Well, they were very, very tough. That was, Short came on. he almost bowled a good over. He got a wicket, almost, where the fielder put his foot on the line, and then they started to go into Jordan path, which is a long way back. And it was some impressive hitting. And there was a half a chance that they dropped there, which pretty much summed up the innings. But who knows? 114 might not be enough.
Well,
Chris.
Interesting that Sri Lanka have already played earlier today. They might have just picked up the pace of the game, the tactics, just a bit quicker than Australia, who looked like they were a little bit off, didn't they? They didn't really know exactly what they were doing.
Well, one thing's for sure, in this format, if you bowl wides, you're in all sorts of bother. Because for every wide they bowled, they had the wicket-keeper way back, so they were getting 3 every time, plus an extra ball. So those extras really hurt them. But it's all in front of them. They got Maharoof who bowled the first over for Sri Lanka. We got big John Hastings and Nathan Reardon with the bat. I'll tell you one thing, they're not going to die wondering, these two.
No, definitely not. They're both huge hitters of the ball. Australia have got some power in their batting lineup, so if they can get going, this target's chaseable, albeit it's going to be a lot of hard work, isn't it?
Well, here we go. Down the ground from Hastings. That could go for the boundary. Yes, it will. Good start from Johnny Hastings.
That almost hit the side of the wicket and just straightened. There we go. Just went a little bit of a left turn and then ran away from mid-off.
Notice mid-off and mid-on are very straight. Very straight. Next ball. Gee, I don't know where that went, but that sounded... that actually sounded like it'd gone into next week.
Well, John Hastings looked like he was trying to hit that one over the sight screen, and it's gone over square leg, so...
Into the
one hell of a
pool.
shot.
There you go, right into the swimming pool. Oh, that sounded good as well, and that's going to the same spot. 114 is not enough. For the way that Johnny Hastings has started, Rodney Miles, the president of the Hong Kong Cricket Association, sitting there. I hope he's safe and watching the ball. Look after yourself over there, Rodney. The sound that those hits are making. Oh, that's going to go for 6 as well. Watch out. Look out. Stay low.
Well, you see that come off the bat, and you think, well, that's 4. And then you look at the boundary, it's so close, and it's cleared it easily, hasn't it?
Johnny Hastings didn't enjoy the bowling, but he's very much enjoying the batting. Have a look at that. That's just a little short arm jolt.
Yeah, I'd love to see him retire in the first over.
That would be good to see. Here we go. Oh, he's going to have to run them here. That's probably the biggest part of the ground. The wide mid-off area. If they pick up 2. He doesn't look happy running 2. Have a look at it. Not happy at all. 24 off 5. Johnny Hastings in Australia.
Oh, look at that. That's proper batting now. I'll just get a single last ball of the over and keep strike.
I tell you what, that's a great over for Australia. 25 off the first, and it reminds me a lot when I used to have to bat with you, Chris, because you could count to 6 perfectly. Block, 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 oh, come 1. You stay up your end. Look at this from Johnny Hastings. Just hit the ball hard, low and flat. And if you're fielding or sitting at minding your own business having a coffee like that lady was,
you're in trouble.
It cannot be good.
So I actually think this game would have been perfect for you, Ryan, with that ticking time bomb that was going on in your head.
Mate, there's no running involved. It's got my thumbs up. Oh, that sounded good as well. That's deep and long and 6. And Johnny Hastings, thanks for coming. Johnny Hastings retires after 31 after 1.1 overs. Australian up for 31.
Was that the quickest?
That is equal, I reckon.
Equal.
Mendes was 6 or maybe 7.
Yeah, I think we have
so,
an equal.
Mate, that's good. That's good shooting from the Duke.
Well, they don't come much stronger than John Hastings, so he only has to get hold of it a little bit, and that ball's flying over the rope.
So 114 is what Sri Lanka made. That's better bowling. Nice and full. Rajapaksa, he batted quite nicely.
This might work out for Australia here, having the left-handed Nathan Reardon with the ball swinging into him. Hasn't faced the ball yet, so here we go. He'll be looking over mid-wicket.
Oh, take it wide there. And sneak an extra. There's 3. That always helps.
I almost think he should have just said, no, I'll take strike here.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Look at that. It's a nice little bit of shape.
With the way the ball's swinging.
Short goes bang. Come on, Buck. Give me the strike, champ. Don't worry about the left-handers. I'm going to be the righty and go straight.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter, does it? Short's a very good play. He's very strong as well.
Well, that's good bowling. Right up in the block hole. Only a chance for a single. So, have a look at this. Dead straight, good cricket shot. I know sixes we can talk about it being a little bit of a hoo-ha sort of game, but good cricket shots still come into play. Oh, that's going to be a wide as well. Oh, it's going to go for 4. There's 8, if you don't mind.
Well, there's no point in having your keeper standing back if he's going to miss that one, is he?
Well, if it doesn't carry and you can't stop it on the bounce, gee, can someone put the commentary down to these teams? Get your wiki up. Get the wiki in the game. 8. That helps the cause. And that's going to help as well, because that's going to go straight down the ground for 6.
I love watching Nathan Reardon bat. The way he stands there and lines them up. You know he wants to hit every ball straight over the bowler's head.
Oh, and he does. What about over square leg? But does he like that? Yes, he does.
Doesn't he?
60 off 2 overs, chasing 114. Australia are cruising towards the victory target, a target we thought were well out of contention. Oh, this game of sixes is an absolute beauty.
I asked you 3 times what a winning score is, Ryan, and I think you said 85. How many tournaments have you played?
Oh, dear. Well, it's pretty short boundaries, we know that. And 114 from Sri Lanka was fantastic. The thing is, though, you're never out of the contest. If one bloke can come on and bowl one good over, it can drag you right back into this contest. And we'll see where we go. Right arm round the wicket. It started with a 6.
So this is actually what you spoke about earlier, Ryan. He's round the wicket. He's bowling into a leg stump line. Why does he have 2 fielders on the offside?
Bring one across. Have 3-1 field and just try something. Because he'll be right on. You could have a square leg, cow corner, mid-on. See what happens. Good bowling. But again, that's out onto the onside. Don't worry about your extra cover. Come across, make the players do something different.
Almost give him that opportunity to try and play one down there. They might miss it, get bowled. You might get a wicket. It is time to gamble, isn't it?
Absolutely. Left-hander on strike. Through the covers. I'll take a single. Good start to the over since Sampath already. 3 balls, just 6 off it. 8 off it, sorry. It's down the ground. Looking for one. Good piece of fielding. No. Oh, dear. Got there, made it. Just couldn't keep it within the rope. That hurts.
We haven't really seen the greatest fielding so far, have we? Australia are a little bit short as well.
Well, there's a good piece of fielding. Off your own bowling, you've got to stop them. So last ball of the over. It's 12 off so far. Sounds a lot, but when the first 2 have gone for 60, you think you're having a good over. Down the ground again, that's going to be 4. Good shot from short. He's so strong down the ground. It's the end of 3. 76 for none, Australia, chasing 115 to win. So if you want to have a look at the rules of the game, somewhere in there it says slog as hard as you can. That's rule number 1. If you miss a couple, then stand on your stumps and let someone else in who can do it. But in all honesty, what you have is every fielder on the ground, except for the wicketkeeper, must bowl. So they're 5 overs, 1 each. Will be 6 ball overs, of course, but you do bowl your wides and no balls again. And if you get to 31, you retire and you can come back later on. So Ramath is coming on to try and stop the flow. And let me tell you, it's not going to stop it with a ball like that. Half volley outside off stump is absolute chalk and cheese for what the Sri Lankans need.
Well, I think he's got a bit of a theory. He wants to come over the wicket, try and bowl it across him and making him on the offside, away from that short leg side boundary.
As he pulls that one across to the onside for a single, didn't quite get it.
But it doesn't really matter because every boundary here is short, isn't it?
Yes, it's short and shorter.
Yes.
So Mr. Short is on strike. He's 23 off 8. Make that high. That could be out. It could be, and should be, and is. Maharouf takes the catch, and Australia lose their first wicket at 83.
The skipper did that pretty easily, didn't he? We saw Sohail Tanvir drop a skyer in the last game. It could be one of those skies which is hard to catch the high balls, but here Maharouf made this bread and butter.
He's an experienced cricketer. Did it nice. Gotch will join Reardon for the Aussies in the middle. And Reardon will help himself for another 6. Bowling at leg stump to a lefty is probably not where you want to be. But Nathan Reardon is just rolling along here, and Australia continue to chase this target with aplomb. 26 off 6 for Reardon. If I was a betting man, I'd probably say 32 off 7.
Oh!
But bowled him. There you go.
Just lost the house there, Brian.
The zing bails go zing, and we see it for the first time. I think that's the first time we've seen someone bowled. Nathan Reardon lost his shape and lost his stumps. Australia lose 2 wickets in an over, and do we have a twist in this tail?
Wow. They needed that, didn't they? Top of off. Oh yeah, you could see the relief almost from Ramath, couldn't you?
So, like we always spoke about, if you have one good over, you're back in the game. And Ramath has delivered for his side. 2 for 13 off 5 balls. He's going to finish with a good one there. Just a single off. So 14 off with the loss of 2 wickets. Australia 2 for 90, chasing 115 to win. We need 25 off the last over. Literally 3 minutes ago, we thought the Aussies were cruising.
We did. You'd almost back Sri Lanka in now with Nair in on strike. Don't think he's known for his big hitting.
There was the wicket of Reardon. It was a big one, top of off stump. Looking once again for that short boundary. So it's Mendes with the responsibility to bowl the last over. He batted beautifully for Sri Lanka, and now it's all about him with the ball. Leg spinner. Oh, he tried to hit that hard, but he's only going to get one. He got away with one there, Mendes. You can hear in the stump mic, Gotch asking his partner, what was he bowling? It's leg spin, buddy.
Well, he tried to hit that out of the stadium, didn't he? You just need to tap it there. Almost threw himself off balance and nearly stood on his stumps.
Again, that's very well bowled. And Mendes, the leggy, is doing the job for the Sri Lankans.
Yeah, we need 4 sixes here, don't we, Ryan? What's the chances?
Well, the way Nair played the first one, I'm going to say not likely. That's good bowling. And Sri Lanka appear to going to win this game. You post a massive score. Even the start the Aussies got, they just lost their way. And it appears that Sri Lanka will bounce back after getting beaten by Bangladesh in the first game to put their first win on the board. And Gotch has tried to hack that and gets a boundary for it.
Well, they need a bit of help from Sri Lanka here, Australia. They need a couple of wides, really.
Need something.
Fantastic effort from Sri Lanka, because twice they looked like they were dead and buried.
And the batters have just not found the middle. It's been a good over from Mendes. Just 7 of it. The last ball in this match. To end proceedings, we end with a wicket, and it probably deserved it too, Mendes. And Sri Lanka take down the big scalps of the Aussies. A fantastic performance. They batted brilliantly. They started shakily with the ball, but they got the job done. And Sri Lanka bounced back, as we said, got beaten by Bangladesh in game 1. But now they get their first win under their belt. And the Aussies heads down and will have to regroup.
Yeah, well, after that first over in the Sri Lankan innings, when it was 2 for 8, after Nair had bowled a fantastic over, you thought Australia had the upper hand. But from then on in, Sri Lanka batted beautifully and just charged the whole time, got themselves to 115, which you thought that was out of reach of Australia. But after 2 overs, Australia were none for 60. But then fell in a heap.
Yeah, as you can see there, Johnny Hastings at the top of the order, 31 on just 7 rocks. Reardon was going beautifully, and so was Short, but they lost their 2 wickets, and with that they lost the momentum of their innings, and they just couldn't keep going when chasing such a big score, and they've fallen well short of the target. And we look at the bowling. Early doors, it was all sorts of trouble for Sri Lanka, but if you look there, Sampath, Rambukwala was great, and so was Mendes, 1 for 7 off the final over. Sees Sri Lanka home in the 2007 Hong Kong World Sixes. So there it is, the tail of the tape. 114 for 2 off their 5 overs. Nair was outstanding for the Aussies with 2 for 8, and Australia only make 98 runs. I think Gutham's down on the ground with a guy who played very, very well.
Yes, indeed. We have the man of the moment here, Jeevan Mendes, with us. What a match that was. Up and down, started badly with the bat, then put on 115. Did you feel you have enough runs on the board?
Yeah, when we were batting at this about 3rd over, we got the 30 runs, So always in this game, if you go out of the game, you can't come back. So if you go 1 or 2 overs away, so that's the moment we came back, I think, in the 3rd over.
But before even the game started, what was the talk after you lost to the under-19 Bangladesh side?
Yeah, sometimes, when you start, you take it as won't take it as a serious game. So when we got to win the last 2 matches, that's what I told the boys, we got to give up 100%.
And even though you had a big score on the board, Australia got 60 in the first 2 overs. Did you at that stage think it was slipping away?
Yeah, we thought in the 3rd over they were going nicely, but I always tell the boys, we need 1 good over to come back to the game. So that's what we did.
And the 1 good over really came at the end from you as well.
Yeah, it was pressure time, but all about keeping nerves in.
All about keeping nerves. That's the key words there from the smiling Jeevan Mendes. They've kept their nerves. They lost the first, but they've come back to win the second.
Yeah, thanks, big fella. They came back nicely. And here's the highlights when we look back at the Australian innings. Jonathan Hastings early on was going like an absolute steam train. 31 on just 7 rocks. And let me tell you, when he's batting, it's a dangerous place to sit anywhere around the ground.
Yeah, well, Sri Lanka were completely relieved to see the back of him as he retired. Nathan Reardon picked it up and he played some amazing shots as well. And even Matthew Short came to the party. But then the Sri Lankan bowlers took charge and made it very difficult at the back end for Australia, who then fell short.
Yeah, like we say, it just takes one over. Here's the dismissal of Short. This is where it all started to unravel. So he lost his wicket in the third over, and then Reardon got knocked over as well in the same over. And from there, Australia had no answers to the run chase. Sri Lanka, too good, which was fantastic performance by them. So let's have a look at the points table from Group A. And as you can see, most of our teams have played one match. The MCC will be up next, who are one of our favourites. And as you can see, 2 points apiece for Pakistan and South Africa. Poor old Hong Kong still haven't started. Their points column says 0, and of course the MCC have not played a game yet. And